Hello guys, good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing fine. How are you guys? Yeah, so today, basically I'll be discussing or I'll be demonstrating the EnGenius Cloud To-Go app. It's not yet available right now publicly, so you won't be able to download it yet on Play Store or the App Store, but it will be available next week. So what I have with me right now is the beta version. So for this beta version, basically it's almost the same as the actual application, but there may be a few typographical errors. So let me show you guys how the EnGenius Cloud To-Go app, because this allows you guys to set up a cloud access point very easily. So it would function in two ways. First is if you already have an EnGenius Cloud access point with you. Let's say you're already managing it through a browser. So the application itself would allow you to remotely manage it from anywhere. So basically, you just need internet access on your phone, and from there you can fully configure your access points or your network. If you're a new client and you haven't had the time to try out our ECS or ECW access points yet, so the application will allow you to easily install that even without trainings. So you don't need to go to a browser to quickly set up your devices. You can just download the app and configure it from there. So it's sort of like plug and play. So this would help new clients. If you're our reseller or partner, you can approach more clients with this application because you don't need to train them. You don't need to give them specific instructions on how to configure an access point from EnGenius. You can just ask them to download the application, and then from there would be a guide or a wizard to walk them through. So let me show you guys how it works. If you already have the EnGenius Cloud app, so basically by next week you just need to update it, so it would be this new application, which is EnGenius Cloud To-Go. So let's pretend that I'm a new user. I don't have any network yet. I don't have any account yet. So what would be the first step to create an account? So from the app itself, new users would be able to create an account. They can either use their social media logins or create an account from here. So let's say I just want to sign up with using Facebook to make it easier. So from here, it's going to ask you to authenticate using your Facebook account. So let me proceed. And then it's going to ask you to select your region. So just select the region that's closest to you. So I'll be selecting Asia Pacific and select sign up. So from here, since this is basically a new account, I haven't configured it before, you'd be given an option to register a new device. So let's say I just purchased one access point from one of EnGenius resellers. So I just want a bigger coverage for my house, or maybe I just want to extend the range of my existing Wi-Fi system. So from here, you can quickly register your access point, the one that you bought. So to register a device, there is a QR code on the bottom. So as I click on register, it's going to prompt me to scan that QR code. So I have an access point with me. This is the ECW 120. So the QR code is on the sticker below the unit. So as you scan that QR code, it will give you a confirmation. This is the MAC address. This is the serial number. You just want to make sure that it matches, and then click on register. So the device does not need to be online. It can be unplugged. So you can register devices even if they're not plugged onto the network. You can configure them so that when you plug them later on, it will just pull the setting from the cloud. So here it's asking me to name the device. By default, it's going to label it as home office. You can change the name. Let me just change it to just leave the model name. So it's an ECW 120. So click on assign to the network site so that it will bring this AP into one of your networks. So within the application itself, we're going to be displaying tooltips to explain to the client what let's say, for example, this menu item is for, what a network is, etc. So there'll be a bunch of these tooltips around the app to make it easier for them to understand. So now my device has been assigned to one of my networks. So I'll just click on next to proceed. And then here, it tells me to plug the access point to the network. So either plug it on your router directly, or you can plug it into one of your network switches so that you would give internet access to the device. So once you set up, you can register more access points if you bought a few, or you can just proceed and click finish. So now I can see that I have one device in my inventory. That's the one I just registered. One managed AP, one network. I have 0 switches. So what would be the next step? So from here, I can click on my network, this part right here. So when I select my network, since I don't have any configuration yet, it's going to lead me through the configuration wizard. So this makes it easier for new clients. Let's say they bought an access point, they just want to set up a Wi-Fi name. They want to put a password, and that's it. They don't want to bother with the rest of the settings. So they can quickly do that using this wizard. But of course, we added more options so that they can configure it further. So let's say, let me change the Wi-Fi name to just EnGenius, and then set a password. And then here you're given additional options, the ones that are commonly used. So here you have an option to hide your SSID. So if you click on the tooltips, it gives you information as well to explain what these different options are for. So let's say this is a commonly used SSID, so I'm not going to hide it. If you want it to be a guest network, you can do that as well. So you can just enable or disable that. If you want to apply bandwidth limitation or traffic shaping, you can do that as well. So let's say, let me limit the speed here to 10 MB, upload and download, and I want to do that per user. One nice thing about the app is you can also configure your splash page from here. So from here, let's say this is your guest network, a Wi-Fi network for your visitors. So you can configure the captive portal, same as what you can do on the browser. So you can change the templates. You can also change the logo and modify the message. So for now, let me disable the landing page. So once I save this, it's then going to create that SSID, so I can verify that when I go to network and then go to Wi-Fi. So this is the SSID that I have just configured. Of course, there's no limit. I mean, you can configure up to 8 profiles here from the app. You can add multiple SSIDs if you need to. And if you need to go to see more options, then just click on the SSID. Then here, then it will display the full SSID configuration, similar to what you would see on a browser. So you would see the client IP mode, whether you want to set it to NAT or bridge mode, fast roaming settings, band steering options, etc. So basically, the wizard is to make it very easy for the initial configuration. Even without having to open up your browser, anybody can install an access point using just the application. So that's how the wizard works for new clients. If you're an existing client, of course, you have more options to play around with. Let me log out for a while and log on to my normal account. So let's say I'm an MSP, I'm an SI, I already have existing projects with EnGenius, I'm already managing my cloud system. So how can this app help me? How can the EnGenius To-Go app help me? So after logging in, it will show you all the projects that you're currently managing, or the project that you have been added to as part of the multi-tenancy from other orgs. So I have all my orgs right here on the list. So let me select the Singapore office organization. So here it tells me that I have 5 APs on this specific network. I have 3 networks. I have one NSky device, which is the Sky Key. I have 1 switch. So let's go to the 3rd floor network so that I can show you guys what options there are. So here I only have 1 access point. So I can see the status right away from here. I can see if the AP is online, CPU availability, how many APs are on 5 gig and 2.4. If I scroll down, then I can have more information. If there are issues on my network, then that will be highlighted on this portion. So scrolling down, then I can have more information such as the throughput. You can press on different parts of this graph to give you more details. You can select which SSID you want to view. Is it all the SSIDs or specific SSIDs? And then it will show you the top clients as well, similar to what you would see on a browser. So let's say you want to see the monthly view, you can do that from here for a quick review. If you want to view one of the clients, you can select them and then they'll display their upload and download information. So if you move or scroll to the left and right, then it will give you more options. So this is layer 7 awareness. You have that here on the app as well. So you can see what type of applications have been going on your network, which one is the most consumption. Top access points, I only have one right now, so you only see the ECW 1200, 120. Top SSIDs, and the list of clients based on operating system. So on the next option here in the bottom part, hopefully you can see it. So I have my devices. This is my access point. Let me show you guys what options you can select from here. So once I select my AP, it will give me the full information, the model, firmware version, serial number, the MAC, the current SSIDs that are activated. So I have 3 here. What's the channel? What's the channel HD mode? IP settings are also here. So one good thing is you have this additional tools. So from here you can view the AP's, let's say, real-time metrics, for example, CPU usage, memory, and throughput. So that will be displayed here as well, which is very handy. So let's wait for it to load up a bit. Okay, there we go. And then you also have an option to reboot the AP from the app. You can configure the lights. If you need to know the LED behavior, it would show you that via this display. So let's say you're setting up an access point for the first time, you're still not familiar with it, and then you would notice that maybe the power light is blinking. So here it will tell you why it's blinking and how the light flashes depending on what is being done by your AP. So let's say firmware upgrade. So this is how it will look like, I mean all the lights, if you're doing a firmware upgrade. Now this display right here would change depending on which model you're using with the light orientation. So the ECW 120 lights would look this way. If I'm using the ECW 160 outdoor access point, it's going to show you a different light format. Same with if I'm using the ECW 220 or 230 as well, because we use a different type of LED display as well. So it's going to reflect that here too. So you'd know what's going on without having to go through the manual. From the app, you can see what's happening. Let's say if you see the last light is blinking, this light right here, that means we're doing mesh, etc. So from the app as well, you can view the clients that are currently connected to this AP, the logs, and you can also trigger the replace function from here. So if I have a switch, I'll be able to view information. Wait, let me move to a different network so I can show you guys. Okay, so if I have a switch, like here I have the ECS 1008P, I can view information on that switch. So I can see the ports, power consumption, VLAN settings, and I'm able to review those as well. So the port settings are here as well. They're also color coded so you know which ports are utilized. You have the legend here as well from the tooltip, so it will tell you what speed this port is running on. And then your switch information, switch settings. Of course, you also have the real-time metrics for the switch. So here it loaded up the photo because this one is uploaded on the cloud to know where the switch is located. So you have a ton of information which you can review from here. So if you have a SkyKey device that you have added on your cloud system, you can also view information from your SkyKey from here. The only thing that you cannot do is remote into the SkyKey. So you need to access the browser for you to be able to do that. But I can review like how many APs do I have offline, online. If I have switches, I can see those from here too. Okay, so let me go to the clients. So from the client list, I have my usual client list that I would see on the system. What's nice about the client list here is I can see the client timeline as well. So from my client timeline, I can review if the specific client is having issues, if I want to trace where they are on the system, to which AP they're connected to. If they're having issues, I can quickly check from here. So same as with the browser, you can be able to view that information here. So from the app, I'm also able to kick a client or block him or add him to the blacklist on specific networks or to that specific SSID. So from here, I can also quickly check the RSSI level of the client. Like what's his current signal to this access point that he's connected to, which AP, which SSID, when was he last connected, or when did he last update on this access point, so I can see all those information. Of course, you can also set a filter on how many clients you want to view. Is it for just today, the past week, or for the entire month? So you can see that all on the app. Okay, so the next tab at the bottom would be for the Wi-Fi system. So basically, this is your list of SSIDs. You can create a new SSID, which would let you go through the same wizard. You can clone an existing SSID from here to just copy the previous settings and maybe tweak a few, or basically configure the existing SSID. Maybe you want to tweak something, so you can easily do that from here. So your splash page settings are also here. Your Wi-Fi scheduling settings, they're all here on the app. Not all the items that you can configure from a browser are on the app as well, but we'll slowly implement and put them over to the app. So right now you're not able to configure the switch yet from the app, but we might add that as well in the future. So log information, they'll be displayed here as well. So if you configured a lot of things, that will be displayed through the logs. Okay, so that's the overview on the dashboard part. By adding devices, you can quickly do that using the plus button here on the bottom. So you can register a new device. And you can also review what devices are on the system right now. So you can see which switches are here, who registered the device. For example, this ECW 120 at the boardroom. So you can see the registration email, when was it registered, and all that information. And then one nice thing about the app is you can also review your multi-tenancy. So if you have multi-tenancy enabled and then you have a lot of different users who are managing your system, maybe some of them as an admin, some of them are just viewers who are reviewing the system to monitor if there's something going on. So you can quickly add new members from here as well. So you just have to type in their email address from here. Select which org you want to add them to. Are they an admin? Do you want to add them as a viewer? Or do you want to give them access only to specific networks? You can also do that from the app. So the new features that we have added, like two-factor authentication, you can also enable that from the app as well. And I think I missed out something. Yeah, by the way, you can also use intercom from the application by clicking on support and then either remote support or ask EnGenius. So here you can chat using intercom to, let's say you have a problem, so you can quickly chat with somebody on the other end. So of course, a huge benefit of using the app is the push notifications. So if you have an AP that went offline, you have an AP that's overloaded with a number of clients, or have utilized the maximum throughput that you have allocated on the network, you'd be informed in real time through push notifications. One thing I missed out, let me go back to my network. Okay, so this new AP that I have just added, so you can see right here that if you have issues, it will be displayed right away. So here it's telling me that there's high channel utilization. So that means that the channel that the AP that I set up right now, has some sort of IP conflict with the neighboring device, because the placement of my AP right now is close to a lot of our APs here in the office. That's why it's getting this interference. Tentative release date would be on Monday, 24th of August. Your existing applications don't need to be deleted. They'll be updated to the EnGenius Cloud To-Go application. So once we release the app, you would have some typos fixed already, and the option to add APs via mesh too, by selecting the specific access point from here. Everyone can download the app, new and old users. Basically, you just have to log in or register as a new account. Okay, so I'm seeing questions from you guys. Let me see right here. One question is, what is a Sky Key? A Sky Key is basically our controller that hosts the Easy Master. The Easy Master is used to manage our EnSky devices, because we have two solutions from EnGenius. One is EnSky, which is on-premise, and then we have the EnGenius Cloud. So Sky Key is used for our EnSky platform. Okay, another question here is, what causes issues detector? I think they were referring to here. So yeah, there are different potential issues that may be caused by or can trigger the detector. One is high channel utilization. This means that you have too much interference. If you have APs that are offline unintentionally, then it will let you know as well. If you have APs that are consuming a lot of CPU resources, maybe your access points are overloaded. Let's say you deployed an access point and you didn't expect that there were like 300 or 400 users that will connect to your AP. So it will consume a higher CPU usage than normal. It will be displayed here too. Another option or another trigger here would be if you have more clients on 2.4 versus 5 gigahertz, it will let you know as well. Because for Wi-Fi, you would want majority of the clients to be on 5 gig, because 5 gig gives you a better connection with Wi-Fi and it would give you a better throughput. And then, of course, if you have switches that you're managing, if it's offline and if it's consuming high CPU usage as well for your switches, that would be it would give you an alert too. Another question here is paid services and front desk. Regarding the cloud, if I'm not mistaken, some of our sales staff have informed you guys that we have two licenses basically for the cloud system. First is the SMB license, which is totally free. Second is the enterprise license. So we'll be releasing more information about licensing maybe by next year, because we've delayed the licenses, enterprise licenses, to next year. So that means whatever features we release right now will be available on all accounts until the licensing has been released, and then from there would be giving you information on which one is part of the free license, which one is part of the paid license. But basically, if you want more information on that, you can approach our distributors or our regional sales managers. Okay, another question here, very interesting question. How to ensure privacy of data, or when the admin lost the mobile phone or the app if they resign? So one thing good about the cloud is we have this multi-tenancy system. Okay, so here, this is our multi-tenancy system. Under my team members, you can see that we have a lot. 4 admins, and then some are just viewers. So basically, what we recommend is when managing a network, to have at least 2 administrators, so that if one of them leaves, the other person can take over. Or if, let's say, that other person suddenly resigns, so basically what the other admin can do is quickly revoke access to another user. For example, if I want to revoke access to an existing person, so long as I'm an admin, so I can either remove the rights from here, so I can change his policies from admin to a viewer only, or I can totally remove him from the system by clicking on delete at the bottom. So that's one way to mitigate those types of issues. Another question right here is, if on auto channel selection, will the access point avoid high channel utilization automatically to less crowded channels? So yeah, if auto channel is enabled on your cloud access point, basically what it's going to do is it's going to scan the environment. It's going to check which channel has the least interference, or which channel is the least occupied on the environment, and then from there it will select that channel. So that's if you enabled auto channel. So another question right here is, can we search the client with name or MAC ID? So yeah, you can do that from a browser from this application. Let me see if I can do that as well. So let me open one of the networks and then go to clients. So here, yeah, you have the search button on the top. Hopefully you guys can see. So there's this magnifying glass icon. So let's say I search myself. So it will display that from here. If you want to use the MAC address to search the person, or maybe the IP address, you should be able to do that as well. So the view on the app is slightly different as compared to viewing it from a browser, but you can see additional options from here as well. So let's say you want to sort it out depending on when they were last connected to the AP, or you can sort it out by name, by operating system. If you want to see their current RSSI level, meaning their signal quality, you can see that from here as well. If you want to sort it out by operating system, you can see the operating systems here as well. So now it's sorted out by Android, iOS, Linux, and then Windows devices. If I'm not mistaken, you can also view the MAC addresses from here. Let me see. So yeah, those information are displayed, and you can do a search from here. So you can narrow down or broaden your search by selecting the period of what you want to be displayed. Is it for the entire month or just for the last hour or minute? Yeah, so again, this app makes it easier for you guys to quickly manage or configure an access point or a network. So anybody should be able to register and add an access point for their setup. They can change the SSID, they can configure a captive portal, they can configure almost everything that you can do from a browser. But of course, one major benefit of our cloud app or our cloud system is that if you want to do full control, anytime you can log in using your same account on a browser, and then from there you have full access to our cloud system. Another benefit again for the cloud versus other brands is that even though we have an app and we make it easy for people to manage our devices, our APs, this is still the full-fledged EnGenius Cloud solution. So there's no limit on how many APs you can manage. It will follow basically what we have on the cloud portal. No limit on how many hardware you can manage. Free license if you want to use the SMB service. Of course, if you want to use advanced features, then we would have the licenses for that in the future, like client timeline and so on. But if you just want to use basic Wi-Fi, SSIDs, captive portal, the voucher system, we have that on the free license as well. Another question here is how to add different clients. So the clients that I have right here is actually not added on the system. These are your wireless clients who connect to your access point. So they would be mapped out automatically on the system for you. You don't have to add them manually. Basically, they are here on the system. So it's automatically generated. The data is taken by the access point, MAC address, IP address, host name, and then it would send to the server, which is then downloaded on your application. By the way, the names here are aliases, which I have configured on the browser. Right now, I don't think there is an option from the app to configure the alias, but I believe they're going to add that soon as well. But basically, from a browser, you can modify the names of your clients on the system. Does the app feature control for AP operational hours? Let's say, for example, AP turns off from 12 midnight to 7 a.m. and turn on again on 6 a.m. Basically, scheduling. So yeah, from the application, you're able to do scheduling. Let me show you guys that one. But the scheduling that we do is for the SSIDs, not for the actual AP. So the APs will remain active, but of course they will consume less power if they're not broadcasting an SSID. So in order to do that from the app, you just go to Wi-Fi and then select which SSID you want to do the schedule. So let's say the guest network. And then the last tab would be for Wi-Fi scheduling. So from here, I can set a schedule. By default, schedule is disabled. That means the AP is online 24/7. But if you want a specific schedule, you can set that from here. Let's say only available every weekdays. And then this is the time duration. So you can either tweak the time from here or just drag this slider on the system. So let's say from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. that's the only time that I want my Wi-Fi to be active, my SSID, and for the rest of the times it's disabled. So you can do the scheduling here on the system. Again, this applies per SSID. And if you have multiple APs, that will be applied across all your APs. But again, it's per SSID, not for the whole access point. If you want different schedules for different SSIDs that you have, you can set it up from here as well. By the way, when we release the app next week, we'll be having a microsite for that as well, which you can access from our website. So from there, you can have more details on the actual application. So guys, do you have any other questions? So again, this application will be launched on Monday. You can download it on Play Store and the App Store. Right now, I have the app because I'm a beta user, so I have access to it. But it's not available yet on the system. If you try to go to iTunes or the App Store, if I'm not mistaken, you would still see the old application. Let me check. So yeah, it's still showing the old app from here. So by Monday, you should see a new app right here, which is called EnGenius Cloud To-Go. And this would be the icon for EnGenius Cloud To-Go. One question is, EnGenius Cloud app, does it work on GMS or also HMS platform? Sorry, can you please elaborate on that? Oh yeah. So basically the question is, where can you download the EnGenius Cloud application or EnGenius Cloud To-Go app? It will be available by next week on the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store. So those are the two platforms that you can utilize, or you can download the app. Of course, if you're using a different type of device other than those system, if you can sideload an APK to your phone, let's say for example Huawei or something, you can be able to do that as well. So yes, I think that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you guys for attending a sneak peek of what's coming up for our EnGenius Cloud To-Go app. So again, additional features would be available on the official launch of the app. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for attending, and have a good day.